All right. Today, the subject we're going to address today is something pretty simple. We're going to be talking about the difference between a 9 to 5 and being an entrepreneur and having your own business. It doesn't matter how small it is, whether we're talking about cutting grass company or washing driveway, washing houses, the benefits between the both. So what you think about that subject?
I think it's a legit subject. I mean, I think 9 to 5 is just, you're never gonna make it 9 to 5.
My opinion towards the 9 to 5 is kind of like driving towards a dead end. You see that you're driving towards the road and you see that sign that says dead end and you keep on going. You keep on going anyway, but you know at some point you're going to reach that dead end. That's my opinion towards a 9 to 5. So what you think?
I mean, it's and what part or what circumstances I would say. Because everybody's different. They got some people that just want to work 9 to 5. But
because
I'm talking about because what are you trying to do in life? So if you're trying to be like being a millionaire, trying to like having, all the cars, all the houses, all the stuff, 9 to 5 is not the way to go. So I'm thinking like it depends on what perspective are we talking about. If we're talking about like people that say, okay, like personally for me, 9 to 5 would never work for me because I know all the dreams I have, all the things I want to accomplish. I want to have a big house, I want to be able to have my freedom. And with 9 to 5, you're never going to have that freedom. Like you say, it's going to be a dead end because there is so much. It's like a ceiling. The minute you get there, unless you invest and you create businesses, that's the only way you'll be able to just. But 9 to 5 ain't never gonna make it.
I'm gonna tell you what I mean exactly when I mean by 9 to 5. Like a 9 to 5, you got a job. It doesn't matter if it's a McDonald's or being a doctor or being a nurse or something to that extent. A doctor. I could be wrong about that. I think a doctor average.
Depends what doctor though.
It depends on what doctor. I think the average for me is $250,000 a year.
Yeah, but I think a surgeon is like $500,000.
But it depends on where you're at. A surgeon could be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is for most 9 to 5, let's just say for the average Joe, who got a regular 9 to 5, they probably making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And I'm sure to an extent they're comfortable. They can afford all their bills. They can perhaps pay for their kids' tuition if they want to send them to a private school, maybe.
I mean, what 9 to 5 we talking about? We're not talking McDonald's right now, huh?
No. That's what I'm saying. Most 9 to 5. Like unless you get like something to an extent that got a high ceiling.
Most 9 to 5, there is no way you can afford private school for your kids.
But that's what I'm saying. Most 9 to 5, unless you got something that got a high ceiling, such as like a doctor, a lawyer, or something to that extent. But whenever we're talking about a 9 to 5, we're talking about the average Joe, the guy that wake up, that go to a job. Even if we're talking about somebody that went to college, that got like a nice job.
Yeah.
Like somebody perhaps that's making a 6-digit job. When we're talking about 6 digits, $100,000 a year and $500,000-$600,000 a year is two different. There's a huge gap between the both.
Yeah,
and I've always hated when people just say, "Oh, I got a 6-digit job."
Yeah.
And I don't think they never took the time to understand. If you're making $100,000 a year and somebody that's making $500,000 a year, you guys aren't even in the same tax bracket.
No.
But they both 6 digits.
Yes.
A job. But what I mean by average net job, for example, me, I got a job and you also got a job where we can easily make close to $200,000 a year, give or take. So that means it allows you to get that comfort.
Yeah.
Within that comfort, pay your bills, take care of your kids, send your kids to private school if you may. But there's like a cap to where when you go out in the world, if you want vacation or a trip or something like that, maybe you're going to encounter certain things people are doing that you feel like, ooh, I can't do that. I got to save.
Yeah.
I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to save for a darker day and so on and so forth. But the people that's like an entrepreneur, even let's just say, I can give you a quick example. Let's just say you're an entrepreneur, you're selling candles. Something so small and simple. Yeah. But you can dream of one day you can be the next Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
But if you got a 9 to 5, what's the ceiling?
I mean, with the 9 to 5, that's what I'm saying. You're always going to have that ceiling. I mean, think about it. So even though you're saving money with a 9 to 5, with inflation, you're losing money.
That's what I'm saying. Inflation going to catch up to you.
Yeah, so you lose. So really, like, you're not making the money. And then the money you put in the bank, and what the bank do for you? They take your money, invest it. So it's best for you to invest your money.
And we live in something big. We're not even talking about taxes.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about taxes. You're making $100,000 a
money.
year. Let's just say if you're single, you don't have a family that can perhaps help you save taxes a little bit. $100,000 a year.
You probably bring home
taxes,
like
you probably
70,
get 65, 70.
Yeah.
And then once you go spend that 65 and 70, they charge you more taxes.
Yeah.
So therefore, overall,
you probably got left maybe like with 55.
You only got 55, really. So therefore, damn near half of it goes to the government.
I mean, just like, and then them guys that got like note 1,500, sometime 2,000, and then you got a car note with
talking
interest
about a
that like
mortgage.
I'm talking about, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got your house note, your mortgage, just like some depends what houses you're living in. It can be like 1,500, 2,000. Then you got a car note that's been like
4, 5, 6, 700. It depends on what
but
you got.
I'm just that
that's,
with the
not,
car
that's not even
plus
counting insurance.
Yeah, so you're looking at $800 to $1,000. So imagine that times like 10 or 12. So let's say 3,000. So you're looking at $36,000 just from that.
You know what's funny? I was listening to a commercial on the radio the other day. I was driving, and they was like, "Man, we got this going on. If you guys are interested, we're paying $20 an hour." Let me say that again. We're paying $20 an hour, and I'm thinking to myself, is that supposed to be something exciting? Are they talking to college and young people who don't have no responsibility, or are they talking to the majority of people?
Yeah.
Because $20 an hour can't really do much for you, really. So yet you out here advertising it as if it's a life-changing type kind of money.
I mean, these days, $20 an hour, depends on where you at. That is just like working at $8 an hour job. Depends on the city you are. It depends on the where you live at. So having money, being an entrepreneur, you develop skills where you can just make money. So the whole plan of the thing is making money. So the more money you make, the you look freedom. So only thing money does, I know money, like people usually say, oh man, you know, like money don't give you, I don't think money give happiness. I'm not looking happiness for money. So me, I'm looking for freedom, so where I can just be waking up today. If I feel like going to work, I'm working for myself. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't feel like getting up, going to the office or going to my business, I can take the day off. You know what? I don't feel good. You know what? I'm going to New York. You know what? I'm taking the day off. I'm going to go fishing. So that's the freedom by having money. So when in a 9 to 5, it doesn't matter if you're depressed, sad, you got anxiety, you happy. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
you
matter
just
if you
got to
lost
be
your
there.
mom.
You know,
Some
you
jobs
literally
only
like
give you 3 weeks worth of grievance. You lost your mom? Oh, sorry to hear that. You only got 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks, you need to come right back here and then.
shit, 3 weeks. There's something 3 days.
Okay, but see, that's what I'm saying. Some don't even give you that comfort. I'm gonna tell you like the bad thing about having a 9 to 5. Most people have a 9 to 5. It keeps the roof over their head, the lights on, keep them fed, their family fed, and so on and so forth. And then to where it's kind of like the meet, in my opinion, the bare minimum. And they feel like, okay, I got the bare minimum. I'm lucky enough, so if I can maintain that job, I can keep going with the bare minimum till I retire.
Why you think that?
Me, honestly, in my opinion, what I think it is, I think it's a mindset that they done inserted within the American population to where they believe that. You get a good job, put as much as you can in your 401k, and by the time you get to 65, you retire, and then you can enjoy.
Think about when you're
some sort of life.
65. I mean, your body can't even keep
Dude,
up
that's what I'm
no more.
saying, though, because it's kind of like you sold your soul for 30, 40, 50 years. Because if you think about it, most people started working since they were like 18, 19, 20 years old. So from 20 to 65, that's what, 45 years?
Yeah.
So you spend about 45 years selling, I'm not going to say selling your soul, but you literally go into something just so you can get money, so you can maintain a living. And that's what most people do.
You spend all your life
All your life.
working.
And then you only get like what? Most jobs give you 2, 3, 4 weeks. And like
2
if
weeks.
it's a great job, you might have like 4, 5, 6 weeks if you don't work your way high enough to like a manager position or something to that extent. Perhaps you can get all that. But for some jobs, most average job, you only get 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then so therefore out of 52 weeks within a year, you only get 2 to 3 weeks to yourself, to where you can do whatever you want. And that's when most people go on vacation.
But I think sometimes too, having a 9 to 5, like being an entrepreneur in a sense is the amount of work you got to put in. So when sometimes people seeing the the amount of, because you're looking at like a 9 to 5, you're working.
I don't even think it's the work. I think it's the uncertainty of it. Because I feel like they feel like at the job, you go there, you do what they want you to do, and then you go home. When you got your own thing, you work every day. Every problem is your problem. You know, at the job, some people are gonna be like, "Man, that ain't my problem."
Yeah.
Whenever you are an entrepreneur, you don't have that luxury. Any problem is your problem. But within the same time, that being an entrepreneur, if you can manage and navigate through all these problems, you get to earn that freedom. You get to earn that money you're currently making. But as far as a 9 to 5, and also the worst thing about 9 to 5, let's make sure we touch up on that. You can have a 9 to 5. It doesn't matter if you're making $8 an hour or you're making $100 an hour. The people that's making $8 an hour, of course, they're not going to be as comfortable as somebody that's making $100 an hour.
Yeah.
Now let's just focus on that person that's making $100 an hour.
Okay.
You can have that job for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and then something happens, you lose your job.
Yeah.
And then just like that lifestyle, that thing that you had get ripped. It's kind of like you have a mat you were standing on and somebody just pulled it from under your feet and then you collapse on the ground.
Yep.
But within a business, and granted, having a business is not something that's easy. It's extremely hard. But within a business, whenever you start small, you're going to go through a lot of things. But whenever you make it past that breakthrough,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you get to an extent to it. It's kind of like
You can cruise control.
You're in cruise control. You can only crash if you crash it yourself. If you got a bad habit, perhaps like gambling or something to that extent. But as long as you manage your business, you manage it right, you to an extent within the comfort of the law, to where the law not gonna mess you up, it's kind of like you're home free.
Yeah, so that's mean that you never have to worry about you getting fired. You never have to worry about like if something happened, like let's say you got sick. Oh, your family member got sick, or your mom got sick, your kids got sick, on your control. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you can deal with that, like how you want to deal with it. So that's the good thing about having your own business. So then depends on the business though, but then just go to work. It doesn't matter how much money you're making, you're still working for somebody. At any time, let's say the business collapse you was working for, and they say, man, we can't, we go bankrupt. So you gotta go somewhere else. Then it's just like you gotta start over again.
And then the worst thing about it, let's just say if you got a business, you can see the ins and outs. You can get ready. If a problem comes up, to an extent, it depends on how much experience you have. You can be ready for it to an extent. But within a job, if the company is not doing well, for the most part, most people don't know until the one day they show up to work and it's kind of like, ooh. Yeah. Within a week or two, we might have to let y'all go. We might have to cut short on staff and so on and so forth. But at the same time, those people who got those jobs that they rely on to feed their family, to keep a roof over their head, the lights on, and so on and so forth, even though they've been doing their job to the best of their ability, show up one day to work and find out, oh, there ain't going to be no more work after 2-3 weeks. And then you got to get back out there and then look for another job. And it depends on what kind of job. If you got a job that was extremely well-paying, to where you were comfortable, to where you were able to afford your family like a expensive or nice-looking house, and then that job no longer exists, and then yet you got all those bills, all those responsibilities, that lifestyle that you kind of want to maintain, but yet nonetheless, you can't maintain it. You have a job, right? You get you a nice house.
Yeah.
And then let's just say one day you get fired, or the job decided to cut short on staffing, or whatever the case may be. And then you had all those responsibilities that you had, and you feel like, okay, I show up to work, I don't call in, I do my job, I get along well with my supervisor, or whatever the case might be. And then one day you made a mistake, or somebody else's mistake ended up causing you your job. All that responsibility that you took upon within your wife, kids, if you have some family, the house, your lifestyle, and so on and so forth, all that disappear within a blink of an eye, to where it's kind of like, what did I do to deserve this? It's kind of like I messed up. It's not like I didn't care enough, but it's just one of those things that just happened out of thin air.
So when that happened, they got two things that can come out of this. I know eventually, with the skills you develop, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to find another job. It might not be, as fast as you want it to be, but it's going to happen. Or you can use that moment to say, man, you know what? I did all this for the company. Now I'm out and this happened. So let's say, I don't know how much money you have saved, how much you had going on at the time. So all you can do is say, you know what, man? I'm still looking for another job, but right now I'm studying my own stuff. Or you can go ahead and start your own stuff and stay that and fight with it and still trying to get to the point where that never happened to you again. Sometimes it's a wake up call.
But I think when it comes to being an entrepreneur, what most people are afraid of is the fact that every problem is your problem. That level of headache,
even though I know this concept, but every problem still right now is still your problems.
But that's what I'm saying. As an entrepreneur,
it's just on a bigger scale.
But I'm gonna tell you what. When you got a job, you got a duty to the job. They want you to show up and do A to B to C and D, however it may goes. And as long as you cover A to D, you're good to go. You go home.
And that's the comfort. That's why sometimes that's what kills people with a lot of drive. Or sometimes that's the comfort, like as human, we usually go look for that comfort where you feel like, okay, you know what, I'm comfortable. I don't have to stop trying anymore. Because imagine, for you to get to this level, to have a wonderful job. So you had to go to school. You sacrifice 4 or 5 years of your life. Depends on the job you were trying to get. The career you're going for. So then you spend all this time, all this learning, all these things to get to that level. Then when you reach that level and then you end up making money, then you're just like, okay, I'm good. But especially I think it's a mistake on the level because, man, if I could do this and I put I create my own discipline. You know what I mean? Because discipline is everything. It's just, and then you get to this level. So when I keep going, just trying to reach a level where you got your own freedom. So sometimes, let's say you lose a job. I think sometimes it's a wake up call. Like, man, okay, this happened. Fuck. I was so comfortable. I was happy. Now, you know what, man? Fuck this shit. I'm just going to go ahead.
And that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like when you have one of those type of job, that comfort that you have feel like it's a borrowed comfort. It's kind of like the job let you borrow that comfort that you have, and then they can take it away from you anytime they want.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is you got a great job, great living, taking care of wife, kids, vacation, and so on and so forth, nice house, nice cars, and so on and so forth. And then something at the job happen at the job, either they let you go, cutting short on staff, or fire you, or whatever the reason may be. And that comfort that you feel like you've earned, even though you went to school, you did everything you were supposed to be doing, it's kind of like the job took that comfort that they've let you borrow for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And yet you find yourself feeling attacked. Like it's kind of like most people, whenever they lose a job, they always feel like it was unfair to an extent.
Yeah.
They're like, man, that's unfair. How they gonna fire me? I done this, I done that, and I done this. But yet, as you know, the job's not gonna highlight all the great things you do. They're just gonna highlight that bad thing you did, and that's why they want to get rid of you.
But you know the funny thing though, too, sometimes you can see somebody at the job and they're so good at their job. I mean, he's been here forever. And then you be like, damn, you know, one time, one mistake happened, and then they just don't care, and then this guy's gone. So now you realize, damn, like at the end of the day, they don't really care about you and in that sense. So to me, even though like you're working on a job, like I never felt like it's my it's not the end game. I mean, it's great to have a good job, you know, to be able to, you know, to afford
a certain lifestyle,
a good lifestyle, a good living. But it's even more wonderful when you have your own business. Even like, so think about the work that you put in to get to the level to get to this job. So how about you use the same how can I say that? The same like discipline, the same amount of work.
But I don't think it's a question of discipline. I think it's like a path. It's the way the world is set up. You grow. I mean, most people, you go to school, graduated high school, and then the next question is, what you gonna go for? What college you going to? And then they go to college, they get a degree, whatever that degree may be, and then right after that they pursue a job. It's kind of like it's a pattern that's been set ahead of us. So that's kind of like why most people felt like the only way to success is you gotta go to college.
Yeah, but even when you're looking at it, colleges, bro. To me, I think it's a scam, if you ask me.
It is a scam. I absolutely agree with you.
It's a big scam because even though, like, when I went to school, and then you have, like, okay, what am I going to do with psychology? Okay, I'm going for something that had nothing to do with psychology. So then you're telling me to take, like, a bunch of other classes that got nothing to do with what I'm going for. So you just adding, like, making money. Then you telling me to take loan that I'm going to spend the rest of my life paying for.
Absolutely.
So just for what? Then when you get to the job, they learn you everything again.
That's what I...
So they teach you every single thing that you go.
Man, I was just talking to somebody about that. And I'm like, I went to school for what I went, for what I'm currently working on right now. And I feel like everything I know how to do at that job is I've learned it right here. And I feel like they could have just literally hired anybody from the street, take the time to train them, and then they would be just as good as me. But yet, on top of it all, I had to present them a piece of paper that says, hey, I'm qualified to do this job, even though whatever it is that I've learned. Because for the most part, if you're a college student, if you're being honest with yourself, you study so you can pass a test.
Yeah.
You study so you can pass an exam. Because after you pass that exam, I promise you, 2-3 months later, somebody can encounter you and ask you one of them questions out in that exam. For the most of the time, you won't remember them. And let's just say you took that exam and you made like an A.
Yeah.
6 months later, a year later, I give you that same exam. I don't think you're going to get close to an A.
You know what? I always think is very fascinating. This, to me, is really fascinating. I had somebody in school, a teacher, right? Teaching you business, but you never own a business.
Bruh. You can't say that again. Preach.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't say that again. Preach.
How you teaching business? How many businesses have you been on?
Have you owned?
Have you owned a business? How many times you been successful in a business?
Because I promise, if you were successful at running a business, you wouldn't be
a teacher. So I just don't get this whole concept. Like they got some subject them teaching you in school, but the guy never actually. The only thing he have is theory. He never have no practice. He never really done it, and he's telling you about it. It's just like somebody that's telling you being a mechanic, but he never fixed a car not one day.
That's exactly
how you teaching
that's
stuff
exactly
like
what it
this
feels
is,
like. And then that's why I say for the most part, college is a scam to an extent. And I'm not saying college is a bad thing overall. Certain things. Look, I got a question for you. Bear with me for a second. Let's just say you take two people.
Yeah.
One that can barely read and one that's like a grade A high school student.
Yeah.
A all around. And then you put the one that can barely read, you put him as a nurse.
Yeah.
And you told him, hey, for 4 years, I'm going to put you with the most experienced nurse I can find in the world.
Yeah.
Follow him for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then you're going to send somebody else to school for 4 years. And after that, you're going to put them in a job. Who do you think going to be able to do that job more efficiently?
The person that been following the nurse for the 4 years?
Exactly.
But I mean, so even let's say for instance, the people that go to college for 4 years, this is what I don't understand. Most of the subject, like
English, math, physics,
they
lab,
never
and all that
so
type of stuff.
my sister was going for chemical engineering. He didn't get to chemical engineering subjects till 2 years to the school.
Exactly.
So he
What
could have.
was the purpose of the previous 2 years?
She could have done all this in 2 years. Just like even the community college, they make you spend 2 years, and you could actually spend. You can actually spend like 6 months to learn the whole thing, but it's just a money thing trying to make you go over there, make the money. More classes you got, more money they made, and then they make you stay there. But in the same token, this is what I don't understand. I mean, no, like let me rephrase that. If I want to understand in some level, like because you don't want to take somebody on the streets to learn, to first come square, like I'm talking about one to do to teach them, but like when they go to school, I can understand the concept. You're sending them to school to just have the basics. So when I come here, I say this is a TV, and you say what's a TV? So now the schools already do all that. So when I say TV, turn it on, change this and that. So you already understand this whole concept. But other than that, the little English, the little psychology, the little other stuff.
I'm gonna tell you something
irrelevant.
I've heard. Let me know if you agree or not. Somebody said the whole point of going to college is basically to show your future employer that you know what it takes to show up to a certain place a certain day, to achieve a task at a certain time, and so on and so forth. Basically, everything you do in college. They give you a task, you got to achieve it, and so on and so forth. You get to do all that type of stuff, and then whenever you get the degree, you get to go to your employer, and it says, okay, that dude knows how to follow the rules. He knows how to achieve a task. He knows how to train. He can learn. That's basically what it proves. Because I promise you, it doesn't matter how long you go to school. Let's just say for a doctor.
So you agree with that?
I agree with that 100%.
You know why I don't agree with that?
Why?
In some level, because you don't. So you telling me right now there is no student that went to school for 4 years and they still get a job and still don't show up to work, being lazy about it. I think it's a mindset.
But no, it's
I think it's being.
I'm gonna tell you what though. 4 years of college is right. I mean, I know a lot nowadays. We got a lot of things online and so on and so forth. Okay. But let's just think about for the people that show up to school every day. You get like 3-4 classes within the day. And then after that, you got like go back home and do the homework and study and review everything that you learned throughout the day.
You think everybody does that?
But even though if somebody don't do that, but we're talking about the high GPA, like whenever you finish school and then you got a degree, what most companies look for, do you have a high GPA?
Yeah.
And then why you think they care about a high GPA? To make sure, guess what? You know what to do. Like to show up to school every day, to follow it, make sure the task is done by the due date and so on and so forth. Which is resemble what they're gonna want you to do at that job. Yeah. They're gonna give you a task, want it to be done by a certain time, want it to be done a certain way, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then I feel like because like for me personally, let's just say you go to school for a math, like for a subject, whatever it could be. Whenever you get into that field, unless you have some sort of training, something like within that field, you're gonna realize everything that you learn about that job was just theories. Things that you heard of, but yet you've never done. Until you get to that job to put your hand on the matter and actually start doing it, basically everything that you've learned to an extent is pointless.
Yeah.
Extremely pointless. So therefore, that's why I believe college is a scam. And then, the worst thing about it is why certain companies within the whole 9 to 5 umbrella, you finish school, went to school for 4 years, and then you're trying to get hired. And then it depends on what they're looking for. And then most companies are going to tell you, oh, man, we're looking for somebody who got like 5 years experience.
Yeah.
Why they don't value that college degree?
I mean, they say and the funny thing is, they will say, okay, you either have the degree and you have the experience, or sometimes they want you to have the degree and have the experience. But how you're going to get the experience is if you never have the job. Basically. So that's why you spend all these years, right, and you do all you're supposed to do to get this to get this degree, and then when you apply for the job, they say, we're gonna go with people with more experience. So I mean, how you expect me to have experience if I never have the job? I'm already done. Look, the part that you wanted me to do. So how about you give me a shot?
That college part is basically freaking useless. You got a 4 years worth of freaking degree, and currently I got a job where I need somebody who actually really know what they're doing. 4 years ain't worth a jack. Because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
After 4 years, you've been doing homework, taking tests, studying for the sake of passing a test, and so on and so forth. And then now you're finally in front of us in an interview. You're telling me that's all you got. It's basically useless because I know I cannot just throw you out there and expect you to do well. I know if I hire you, I got to take the time to train you properly, even though you got like a degree.
Yeah.
That's how useless it is. Because let's think about it, right? You take the time to train somebody. You could have trained any random Joe Blow. I mean, certain jobs. Some jobs, I'll give the credit that you might need a degree to be able to do well in it to an extent. Like, let's just say if you're a physicist.
Yeah, I mean, just like being
to that extent.
I mean, just like a
good
doctor.
To have a start.
I mean, just a doctor. I'm not saying college is terrible on so many levels. Right. The only thing college do on some level is give you the basics of what you're gonna
like an idea.
Yes. So even though being a surgeon, I mean, you're gonna have to be good at it. Books ain't gonna do you anything good.
Nothing.
So, but the more practice you do,
have you ever met an engineer? Have you ever met an engineer?
Yeah.
Do you see how backward they are?
Yeah, terrible.
Okay. And then, in my experience, dealing with an engineer, it's kind of like everything they tell them is just theory. It's like for some reason they believe in that theory gonna work. Yeah. They believe that thing that they've read in a book or perhaps they learn in school or they see in the computer.
And 95% of the time that shit doesn't work.
And then when they tell it to you, somebody, that's why they always say between book smart and street smart, however they mean, whatever they may mean by it. And then you listen to that guy who's supposed to be smart telling you something that sounds like about the dumbest thing you ever heard.
Yeah.
But in his mind, he believes that's so right. And then you looking at the guy and you're thinking to yourself, okay, has this dude had any practice? Has he ever actually gone out there and done this thing? Just like whenever an engineer, like, okay, for example, as a mechanic. Mechanics usually hate engineers because whoever engineered the car, whenever they got to go work on it, you see a bolt or a nut hidden somewhere and you're thinking to yourself, okay, whenever they put that crap there, how in the hell they expect me to loosen that nut?
Yeah.
Stuff to that extent, but an engineer don't think that like an engineer or like people that just see a theory in their head and then they just believe that theory gonna work. They probably done the math and then they be like, okay, if I do this and that, it's gonna work. But for the most part, it doesn't actually work like that once it gets like to where it's supposed to be going.
But I think most of the time those engineering after they gain so much experience, it's a whole different level. But I always like the engineering that just come out of school and they come to the job, they usually like, they don't even like you say, they just book smart. So they come in telling you this, and that. But usually it doesn't work. I think you can be an engineer, getting the book smart, then with actually working in the field, then you can put both of them together, be like, oh, okay, that really doesn't really work. I don't know how this really work, but if I do this, this is going to work. You know what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes when you meet engineering, like in the job we work, and you be like, man, these dudes don't know nothing. They don't know nothing. But some of them come when they gain experience, like been working in the job 5-10 years, they more like, when they say something, they know what they're talking about because usually they go through it already some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in school.
Which goes back to cover the experience. And I know we're getting off subject without really touching in the whole entrepreneurship of things. But what goes back to a 9 to 5, like you said. Most engineering, like, because most of them I've ever met don't ever say anything that makes sense to me. To it, like they're gonna be saying something. I'm gonna tell you what, the experienced one that I've met, they just learn to just get out the way. They just learn to where they're gonna tell you, to where they're not telling you what they know is gonna work. To where they're gonna give you, oh, I got a theory. Do you want to listen to it? I've actually dealt with that.
Yeah.
And then once you listen to it, to where they trust your feedback more instead of just telling you something and expect you to follow it. Because I've met one in my previous job that had experience to it. Like when he says something, he kind of want to step back and be like, do you guys think it's gonna work?
Yeah, no, usually like most of the time when they come and they talk to you about it, and they will literally like waiting for you, like you in the head, like, man, you're the engineer. I mean, why you asking me? But sometimes most of the time they're asking you. I mean, if you don't think it's gonna work, you don't have to do it, bro. I think like you're supposed to be the guy that's gonna come and say, hey, if we do this, this, and that, this should work. But most of the time they will tell you and then see like If you say like, man, I ain't doing it because I don't think it's gonna work, they're not gonna even like sometimes push.
Some of them got a problem with it because I've met some that I guess I don't know if I may call them arrogant, but some of them it's kind of like when they tell you one of those theory of theirs, they believe that would work. It's kind of like they want you to go ahead and do it, and if you question it back, like, no, I don't think that's gonna work. They tend to look at it as you not really want to work or not doing what you want them to do. But enough of all that. We touched enough on the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Let's move back on the entrepreneurship. What do you find extremely attractive about being an entrepreneur? Give me like 3 things you think that's extremely attractive.
I think the knowledge is very attractive to me, just knowing how to make money. Because making money, it's a skills in itself. So like, because you know what I mean, so many times you never heard like, say for instance, like somebody like Bill Gates or somebody with there's know how to
like a successful entrepreneur.
Successful entrepreneur. They all say the same thing. Right now, you can take all the money away, and they'll get it right back. So because they got the skills,
they got the knowledge.
They got the knowledge. They learn how to make a business successful. So to me, this is the most interesting thing to me. Like learning how to make money, learning like taxes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, all this matters because if you got a business, you don't know how to play around with taxes. You're basically getting screwed.
You know what I'm saying? So that's to me, this is the one thing that's like I just want to learn how to be a entrepreneur, not just by reading a lot of books, just by actually go out there and actually do it
and failing and learning and so on and so forth. The beauty,
I don't even call it fail. It's just like
you learning more.
You learning, like because everything you call it's not even fail because you're just like, oh shit, I did that. Okay, I know next time not to do that. Yeah, you can lose money. I mean, you lose money, but doesn't make you like like you fell on it. It's just like you was driving a car. I mean, you hit a tree, next time not to hit a tree. Or you go like him said, well, you were supposed to turn right instead of left. Now you got a dead end. So all you do is make a U-turn, go to the other way. So that's why I think being an entrepreneur, the art of having money, like freedom, do whatever you want to do.
The beauty
at
is
any
the
time.
art of knowing you know how to make money by yourself. Of course, if you're an entrepreneur, you can have employees and so on and so forth, but you're going to feel like you're the one in a way creating that money. So therefore, there's nobody that can actually come and take it from you. Like if you're an entrepreneur, you get like a contract and you lose it, you can just go seek another contract and so on and so forth. If you come across a problem, you can just fix it and then keep on going.
But the concept that's really legit when I heard it before, you don't make money. You just take money from people. Just learn how to take money from people.
That's exactly what it is.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like go rob a bank or nothing like that.
You find a way to give them a certain service that they want,
and you take the money,
and then they gotta give you money for it. And then that's basically how it goes. That's the whole point of money because you gotta think about it. You may have something that you have and I don't want it.
Yeah.
But I got something you want.
Yeah.
So therefore, the common goal is money.
Yeah.
If you give me money, I'll give you what you want. So therefore, if you got like something I don't want, we can just do trade.
The whole plan, the whole thing is learn how to take money from people.
Exactly.
Take money
Give
from
them something that they want, whether you're selling them coffee, whether you're fixing their cars, whether you're changing their tire. It doesn't matter what it is. Find a way to come up with something to where you give to the world that they need.
Yeah.
And in exchange, they're going to give you money back for it. That is, I mean, it may sound simple, but it's harder than actually is.
Yeah. But it's sometimes like when you see somebody like build something, oh, like, man, damn. And you never realize, damn, that shit was necessary. Like, oh, damn, he's going to make a lot of money. Because the fact that you can see that something everybody needs, and then when you create that, easy money. So it's just like the whole thing is learn how to take money from other people and trying to do it the best way possible. You know what I'm saying?
Let's take a car salesman for an example. I'm sure everybody to an extent have had the experience of dealing with a car salesman. You walk in there, you need a car, you want a car, you might have something you really like, and then you may have like a certain price in mind, right? And then you come in there, you talk to the car salesman, and then you might be like, hey man, I see this car that I like, I saw that car that I like. And then the fact that the way they talk to you is kind of like they shoving that car down your throat to an extent. It's because they're going to tell you, oh man, this car, I'm telling you, for example, I went on town, I was trying to buy a Jeep. That's what I wanted. I'm like, man, I came here, I saw this Jeep, I like it. Of course, I had a price in mind, and so on and so forth. And it was like, man, you don't need a Jeep, man. I got a Challenger, Hellcat, this, and that. The girl's gonna like you, I'm telling you. You gotta. And that dude was actually telling me how cool I was looking that car. Yeah. And then granted that Hellcat was way more expensive than that Jeep that I wanted. But the way he was selling it, if you were like somebody that was like naive to an extent, you would have gone for it. And he was like, man, how much with that money? And he was looking at all my paperwork, and he was like, I see how much money you making. You easily qualify for that. And you got good credit. Like he said, man, just don't worry about it. That challenger, you got a haircut, you pull up in the club, man, that girl that's ignoring everybody, she gonna be looking at you. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, who does dude think he's talking to? But let's just say to an extent that guy was talking to a 21, 22-year-old. He's literally selling him the dream.
Yeah.
You got this car, all your problems are over in that moment. And then you go for it. So in that moment, that man's trying to give you something you want. And even though you didn't want it, but he's trying to make you feel like you want it.
Yeah.
So you can get it and he can get his money. Because once you get that high-ass bill, you get a haircut that's like what? $90,000 to $100,000 car.
Yeah.
You get one. I think it could be more expensive than that. I'm not quite sure.
Depends which one.
Depends
like what year, all this.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then you get one of the, either way it's going to be expensive. You got a Hellcat. And then you're like, man, I'm a young man. I'm young. I'm single. I'm chasing girls. I'm chasing respect or whatever the case might be. That Hellcat will do it. And yet, even though when you walked in there, you walked in with the expectation, okay, that's too much. That's out of my league. That's out of my price range. I'm not going to get it. And yet that guy in that moment was trying to sell it to you as if, man, it's possible. Let's do it. And then you're going to be selling a 21, 22, 22-year-old guy a $80,000, $90,000 car when a guy probably making what? 50, 40, $70,000 a year, if even that.
Yeah.
And then yet it's kind of like you pushing him down a hole.
I mean, that's
so
the order.
You trying to sell him something, and then the car salesman. It's not like when you go to like a superstore, like a store, Walmart, Publix, whoever it may be, and be like, "Oh, I want something like a slice of bread." So therefore, you buy like a whole bag of bread. You need that. You buy it. Anybody trying to force it to you, but a car salesman is forcing it to you. He's telling you, and you know what? I don't even. You know what? I don't even call it force it because at the end of the day, that's the whole game thing. That's the game of it. It's basically forcing it. And it's not. They basically forcing it to you because if you actually really think about it, the guy is literally. And you know what? What they do that kills me when they tell you, man, go ahead, take that car home, man. Go to hit the club tonight. You'll see. He literally told me that. Take that car home, man. Go to the club tonight. You'll see what I'm talking about. Dude, you have to have like an experience or a strong mindset to resist that. And at that time I was like, what, 24 years old? Let's just say, because honestly, if I was 21 years old and somebody tell me with the kind of money I'm making, I can afford that, I'm going to be getting all type of girls, I would have jumped on it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, man, take the, and then when I was like, ooh, the price, man, I'm not quite sure. I didn't come in for that. And he was like, man, dude, I'm telling you, take the call today, what, Thursday? Bring it back Monday. Let me know what you think. And for a split of a second, he had me.
Yeah.
For a split of a second, I'm like, damn.
And that's the whole art
for a split of a second, he had
to take money from other people.
And I'm like, man, I could do that. But then again, I was actually had like some sort of I don't know what to call it, whether you may call it money wisdom. Too. I'm looking at the price. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be paying $900 a month.
Yeah, that's a lot of money
for a car plus insurance.
And the funny thing is,
6 years, so I can get girls. Are you serious?
And the funny thing is, the minute you leave the lot with this, you lose 20% of that value.
The moment you sign that paper, that dude don't care. You can leave it at the lot if you want to. The moment you sign that paper, you can leave that car at the lot and never come back to get it. That's no longer his problem.
Yeah.
But so, it's one of those crazy things you meet with in the world. But as an entrepreneur, the beauty of an entrepreneur, me personally, the best thing I like about it is the fact that the room to grow that it has. You can literally think of anything, whether you could be cutting grass, selling candles, the ceiling on it is literally above the sky.
The entrepreneurship I love about it, the beginning, depends what business you're doing. Depends of like who you got around you. Let's say if you have people with experience, it might be easy for you. But if you're the one that's starting it by yourself, it's hard. It take a lot of hard work, a lot of like time consuming, dedication. And sometimes that's why people don't want to go through that level.
Oh, it's extremely hard. True. I can tell you from experience. It's extremely stressful and extremely hard.
To make it happen. But then when you bust that ceiling, it's just like...
The sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit.
The sky is the limit.
So that's when I just want to be like, you want to get to that level where you just on cruise control. Money's everywhere. The minute you get to that level, you're going to see it everywhere. The theory of a wet car. You know what I'm saying? When you're driving home, you don't pay attention to how many wet cars you see. But I bet you if you buy a red car or just like you buy a normal car, like if you just bought the Jeep, then on your way home, you're going to see like 5, 6, the same Jeep.
Exactly.
But before that day,
never paid attention
you never pay attention to it. So that means you started having money, you started having businesses, you're gonna realize
You're
damn,
gonna,
they got
there's gonna have
businesses
so much
everywhere.
opportunities and so on that's gonna be
It's
available
right there.
to you.
The
It's gonna be
businesses are
right
right
there.
there.
You got the money, so all you gotta do is say, guess what? Today I want to open a restaurant,
Yeah,
and then you can just go to the bank and put your assets against that loan, and then tomorrow you got a restaurant.
yeah.
And then it's not like you gotta go to the small phases of opening it, barely making it by, learning the business to the process. No, you just get the money. And then the restaurant's open. You have plenty of money to open it. It's running. And then next day you can just put that restaurant as an asset, put it again, get another loan, then you get something else.
Yeah, I mean that's
And it's got like a rinse and repeat to where it's kind of like a formula that always works.
95 doesn't work.
No, not like a 9 to 5. I'm not gonna say it doesn't work. There's plenty of people with a 9 to 5, including myself and yourself. It's the ceiling there is on it that feels like to me that's low. I feel like they asking me for too much and giving me too little. You ask, and what I mean by that is you literally taking what 20, 30, 40, 50 years worth of my life for what? So
I don't think they're taking it. I think you give it to them.
You're giving it to them. Oh, I'm gonna give you like another example. I used to have an old job back when I was in school, in college. I used to work at Walmart, and then first day at Walmart with orientation, we had the manager of the store. He said, "Man, I've been working here for 30 years. Because if you've never worked at Walmart, you don't know. Once you make it past 10 years, they start putting it on your badge to where people can see you've been here for 10 years, 15 years, so on and so forth."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Man, I've been working out here for 30 years." And the reason I'm telling y'all all this is because I want y'all to believe within this company, you can be comfortable. We take care of you. Me, I'm making $65,000 a year. And I know you guys ain't quite there yet, but I'm telling you, if you stick with this company, you know, it's a great job. One day you can have hope to end up being somebody like me. And I remember me sitting there looking at that guy. I'm like, you mean to tell me that you've been working there for 30 years, you're only making $65,000 a year? But granted, that was like 20.
Yeah, but like, imagine with all the even though the
right now I'm
inflation
sure they're
one-
making a bit more.
Okay, let's say even though that how much you think that would be like? Maybe like 70,000.
I don't know, 70, 80, probably even 90.
I don't think even that much. I mean,
I
depends
don't
on
know.
how.
I'm not gonna make that assumption because
I'm not.
quite
Yeah,
sure.
but I'm just saying depends on how high you get to the company. But even though $65,000, $80,000 a year is not.
It's not that much. After spending 30 years, do you give that place 30 years of your life where you showed up every damn day?
But you know what?
Unless
I
you
don't want
called
to
in
be.
or you
but-
got a vacation, you showed up every day. So you spend a lot of time in your life that you were blessed with, within that company, doing what they required of you. And then in return, they give you money just enough, I guess, to cover your bills and your little bit of needs that you may have. And then 30 years, you're not rich. Because I don't think that guy was saying it as if he was rich.
Okay, but let me tell you this though. I want to get this straight. I think sometimes indoctrination, so the way the system works, so they want you to go to school, get a job, pay taxes,
Die.
right?
Basically.
But it depends is, do you want to be on the right race where you just follow the rules and then just do exactly that? And as long as you're satisfied with that, cool. But if you tell me you got high aspiration in life, that you want to be successful, you want to be rich, even success can be so...
Success is subjective.
It's
You got
subjective,
different
right?
meaning to different
yeah,
people.
different meanings with different people. But if you said you want to make a lot of money, you want to have freedom, 95 is not the way to go.
Nah, because it's a 9 to 5, you're there damn near
Because
every day.
to me, growing up wasn't easy. So I struggled a lot. A lot of stuff I didn't have. Come from a third world country. My dream is to make a lot of money. So I want to be able to have freedom. So today, if I want to be in Paris tomorrow, all I have to do is I'm in
Book a
Paris
flight.
tomorrow. I'm in
Book
Paris
a flight and
tomorrow.
you out there. Most 9 to
You know what I'm
5
saying?
can't do that.
So if I want to be, if
Yeah.
I change, like I want to go, I'm a big Manchester United fan. If I say, man, I want to go watch the game, I want to be watching
Book a flight.
the weekend, I'm watching the game.
Book a
So
flight.
Lakers is in the finals. I'm a big Lakers fan. I'm a big LeBron James fan. If I want to go watch a game, I can be in the game. So this is only reason I want to have money. I want to be able to do what I want to do
You want that
when I want to
freedom.
do it.
You
I don't
want
have
that
to be like,
freedom.
oh my gosh,
You don't
should
have
I
to be a slave to a system.
I gotta go to sleep right now because I gotta go work in the morning. So having a 9 to 5, spending all your life doing that, you really not free. So money not gonna bring me happiness. But doing these little things, because money is a tool, that means I have this tool and I can use it anytime I want to have the things I want. That's gonna
Give you
make me
that sense of
happy.
freedom.
That's the freedom. I'm good. So 95 is not the way to go. So what's your aspiration in life? It's up to you. But to me, I think is that the way they built the system is And then when you get through that system, sometimes you got so much debt already. So then you can't leave the system, because even in studying in school, that's when the whole debt thing started.
It's a debt. And then
so then you're gonna
you get a job, you get a mortgage, it's a debt. You get a car note, it's a debt.
You know what I'm saying?
Whatever
So now when you're the 9 to 5, you don't want to lose that 95, because you already have so much debt, so much thing you're paying. You got a mortgage, you got a car note, you got insurance. Now you got credit card bills. So
I'm gonna
now
tell you something that's even
you just
funnier.
become like,
I went to a tire place. I was trying to buy the tires. I want to say about 2 years ago. I went trying to buy a tire, and I showed up there, and I told the guy what kind of tire I needed. And he's like, how many of them you need? I'm like, I need 4 of them. He was like, oh, yeah, we got this best thing. I'm telling you, man, to where you get this interest, all you got to do is you're going to be paying $30 a month. And I'm like, that sounds nice and all. And I'm like, $30 a week. And I did the math. $30 a week for 5 years, I was going to be paying $500 over what the tire would actually cost. And I told him, nah, man, I can afford the whole thing. Just give me all 4 of them. He was like, nah, if you can't finance, we can't sell you. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, we prefer financing and so on and so forth. But that was the owner talking to me, though. And I'm thinking to myself, so therefore, the whole point here is like, y'all just trying to screw people.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to sell tires, man. You're just trying to screw people. Dude, I got the actual money. I'm telling you, I'm willing to pay you what the tires are worth. But you're like, nah, it got to be financing. For the people that's probably watching this video right now, they probably won't recognize what I'm talking about. That place is R&R.
Yeah.
Okay, that place. They told me that you can't buy it cash. It's got to be financed. So therefore, it's kind of like, unless you will allow me to screw you, I'd rather not deal with you. And then for the most part, that's basically what they do. For people that got a cell phone, you finance a cell phone, right? You're paying the monthly bill on it or whatever. And then the moment you're almost done with,
they say you're done.
No. Guess what? They's like, hey, man, don't worry about that little bit you got left on that phone. We're going to pay it off. We're going to set you up with a whole new set of bill cycle. It's kind of like, what the hell, bro? We're going to give you a new one because we don't want you to pay it off and not have to give us that money monthly plus the interest. Don't worry about that $200-$300 you may have left on it. We're going to get that old phone from you and hook you up with a brand new one. And then we're going to put you right back within that bill cycle.
Give a good example, right? Listen to this. This is the funny thing. So you bought, especially that happened to you, you bought a computer for $1,500. You got it for 4 years. Then it stopped working. You bring it back. Now that say you want to do a trade-in, I want you to tell the people how much you take.
Man, look, when I brought that computer back,
I want you to tell the people. Dude, after 4 years, you spent $1,500 on a computer / tablet.
It's a Surface Pro 7. 4 years ago, I think it was like, 2020, give or take, early 2020, I purchased the Surface Pro 7. I purchased it with the pen, the keyboard, the whole 9 yards, and then the bill was like $1,500.
Yep.
And 4 years later, I started having a certain type of issue with the computer, too. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and bring it back. Hopefully
how much they said they was going to give you?
I'm giving you the full story. I'm trading it, brought it back so I can get the latest one they got. And the latest one they have was this one, which is the Surface Pro 9.
Yeah.
Them guys had the nerves, the audacity, the gall.
Tell the people.
To tell me they would give me $19.98 for it.
God damn.
Just tell me I can't take it, man.
Think about it, man. I mean, so you sent me this 4 years ago over $1,000. I mean, I'm talking about, let's say don't include the keyboard.
The computer itself about $1,000.
$1,000.
I didn't buy no keyboard or no pen for it.
So every month, how much money you lose on that? That's a good calculation.
That's a good calculation. And then that's why it's kind of like a lot of stuff, even when I got
what? Let's do the calculation.
When I got the urge to buy them, when it's something I really need, I excluded things that I want. Unless it's something I really need, I feel like whenever I go get something that I really want, it's expensive. I feel like I got screwed by the system. $100, $200. I feel like $200 that's a bit pushing it, but that'd be respectable to an extent. But whenever I purchased something that was $1,500 for 4 years ago from you guys, and I brought it back and see if you guys say you accept trades, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let me bring that old stuff and trade it, and hopefully I can save money towards the new stuff. You told me you would give me $19.98. So hey, my thing is, what are you gonna do with it?
Even the funny thing is, the guy at Best Buy said, even him was laughing. He was just like, man, you might as well keep this thing. So it's just to show you.
Like even the employees, they were like, yeah, man, we're screwing you. Don't do it. But that's how it works, man. That's literally how it works within the world.
They just keep you on the debt.
And then they're always calling you, like, I don't know, for some odd reason, I get a lot of mails. Oh, you qualify for a $50,000 loan.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Qualify for a $60,000 loan. Did I ever tell y'all I needed a $60,000 loan?
Oh, there's that other loan thing where you can take, like, let's say, for instance, you take $1,000, and by the time you pay it, it looks like every payment you make never goes to that $1,000. What was that thing called? I think like when I was
payday loan and so. Okay, I'm gonna give you something that's more interesting. My very first car, I purchased it it had some issues, and I wanted to fix it. And back then I was like dirt poor. I couldn't afford it. So one of the idea that I had was, let me just go ahead and take a loan against the car. I think them guys gave me $1,000, and then after they taxed it too. They're like, man, we're gonna loan you $1,000. We're gonna tax it within that money we're letting you borrow.
Yeah.
And I think after everything, I ended up having $800, and I was okay, cool. Now, and then I went and got the car fixed. And I think my monthly payment was like something not that much. I think it was like 120, 150.
Yeah.
I think it was 150 a month. I paid that 150 for 6 months, and I went back and I'm like, hey man, how much money do I owe y'all? They told me $800. I'm like, man, that's all y'all gave me. What the hell y'all talking about? And they're like, oh yeah, man, the interest rate. Then they started explaining to me like all them payments, how 50 went to taxes, 30 went to this fee, 40 went to this fee. So basically, only thing you put was like $20. And I'm like, oh hell no, man, y'all got me messed up. I went back to my mom and I borrowed the money from my mom and paid them the full amount and left it at that. And ever since I've dealt with that experience, I hate financing things. Right now, the only thing I got has a quote unquote finance thing is my house.
Yeah, me too.
Nothing else. If I can afford it cash up front, I don't want to get screwed because I know you're gonna screw me.
Even the mortgage though,
you get screwed. But
twice.
At that, you don't have like. I feel like to an extent, you don't have a choice to the mortgage unless you want to rent forever, which is usually way more money. But for most things, you're financing. You ever stop for a second, do the math. It depends on the interest rate, of course.
Yeah.
Do the math and how much you're paying. You're gonna realize you're paying way more than what it's worth. It's like there's an interest.
And a house, you're paying twice.
Yeah.
You're paying twice the amount. Like when you go look at it in the 30 years and you do the math, you end up, if you buy a $200,000 house, sometimes you end up being $500,000.
Exactly. So therefore, it's kind of like you got screwed. And that's how the system is built. You're getting screwed, and the government is screwing you. Private companies are screwing you. Yeah. You're getting screwed left and freaking right.
And that's why when you work, that's what the thing is, when you work 9 to 5, you in that system. That's why it's so hard to come out of it. Then you just like, put yourself, you know what, I just do this, and you so much deep down in debt, it's hard to even go trying to get like, you know what, I'm going to just go do my own thing, and then you don't even take the risk to even trying to do something else because you know they made you step, and then those things pile up so quick, so fast, and then you just give up. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why people get that comfortability like that.
Think about it. Another thing that's like a huge scam. Insurance overall are a scam. It doesn't matter if they cover a car, a house, or whatever it may be. It's a
insurance
scam
is a scam.
But so therefore, it's like one thing you need, but at the same, it's kind of like you got to allow yourself to get screwed because it's like a thing you need, but you're getting screwed overall. Think about health insurance, right? Let's just say you know life insurance. Let's just say I want to get life insurance, so if I pass away, I know my family's straight. I don't leave him in a hole and so on and so forth. So therefore, they're letting you know, it's kind of like you're taking a loan, like a bet against your life in a weird way. But the moment they come to your house, they realize you're not healthy. They're like, nah.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you the insurance I think is the biggest scam. Car insurance. You know what? Let me say this. Car insurance is the biggest scam in the world. You know why? This is what I don't understand. Bro, I'm paying you my money to cover my car. That's what you said. Man, give me this amount of money. If there's something happen,
holler at me,
I got you. Yeah. Then my car get in a car accident. You telling me no. You got the nerve to tell me I'm giving you forgiveness? Forgiveness?
No, you're not forgiving me. I'm paying you. And that's not even the worst part. They're like, oh man, because the idea was for us to fuck you. Not the other way around. Yeah. So therefore, whenever like just something happened, your car break down, you guys then and they realize, man, I gotta pay this dude $15,000 or $10,000 to fix his car, so that means he's fucking us. Yeah. That ain't gonna work. So they're like, nah, dude, you're gonna raise your prices. What? What do you mean you're gonna raise my prices? No, we're gonna, because it feels like we're here to fuck you. You're here to fuck us.
Yeah, but at the end of the day.
But if it goes a certain way where we feel like you fucking us, something gotta give. Because let's just say your insurance is like $100 a month for a car, $200 a month. If you're doing well, going 3, 4, 5 years, and they're like, man, we see you doing a good thing, man. We're going to bring it down $20 for you. Man, appreciate that. And you get in one wreck, they raise it up $50, $60.
But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, to me, the whole point is, I'll give you car insurance. Hey, man, look, I'm giving you this thing right here. It's called insurance. If your car getting in a wreck, I got you covered. So you're going to keep paying me. You never see somebody that paid car insurance for 30 years, never been in an accident, nothing. Oh, best driver ever. You got in a car accident, you say, oh man, the next month, you raise the insurance on them?
Yeah, they
bro.
Do that.
And then you tell them, hey, even though the commercials, I always think this is funny to me. How commercials saying, they give you forgiveness.
You're not forgiving
What you
me.
mean
That's the whole
forgiveness?
purpose of me paying you. I pay you in case something happened. So how in the hell
Why
when
you
something
forgive me?
happened, you're like, man, I'm forgiving you.
Come
For
forgive
what?
me. I've been
Fuck
paying
you
you.
taking my money for it.
I've been paying you 10, 15 years,
Like,
and then I
bruh.
got the first accident. You say, man, accident
I'm
forgiveness?
gonna tell you what. Check this out.
What is
When
accident
we first got in
forgiveness?
this country, my mother bought like a van. I think it was like a Honda Odyssey. No, I think it was like a Ford. What's the name of that Ford? But it was a Ford van. The second one was an Odyssey. The first Ford van, she got into a wreck. Actually, I was learning how to drive in it and I messed it up. So they fixed it. Cool. Sold that car. Got another one. The second one was an Odyssey. Got within that same insurance again. And then they were like, okay, man, we got you and so on and so forth. And she got into a wreck again. I think that was her. I think somebody hit her. She wasn't at fault, but the person took off or something like that. And they're like, oh, man, look, listen, bro. The system wasn't meant for you to fuck us. It was for me to fuck you. So we're kicking you out, man, because they feel like you're fucking us. They kicked her out, bro.
I mean, that's the crazy part, because the whole plan is, hey, man, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. But that's why they sell it to you. I'm here to help you if something happened. Look, come get this car insurance right here. But you know what? This is what we want you to do. We want you to drive safe as much as possible. Be the best driver you can be. You know what? They even have that little thing now on the phone where they count like as good as you are. They've put it like cents is a concept of getting you like you to be the best driver, 2 hands on the wheel, doing your thing and stuff. And then first got in a car accident. I can't get past this part. What is called accident forgiveness? I want an insurance company to explain this to me. I've been paying you for 20 years. And I've never been in a car accident. This is my first time ever. You forgiving me?
Did you been collecting my money for 20 years?
I just don't get the part. Like, you even use this in a commercial. What's the hope? You telling me?
It's a system. It's a system the way it is. It's kind of something when it become a system, it's kind of like people don't even stop to question it because it's a system to where they believe it. And to their eyes, it makes sense. But if you're somebody that's perhaps like an outsider, somebody that may be thinking outside the box, we're going to look at it and be like, okay, something is amiss. Something not quite adding up within this whole thing you're selling me. You're basically telling me I'm paying you so I cover you.
Yeah.
If you mess up, I got you.
That's the whole plan, right?
And then when I mess up, and you like me like, man, look, dude, your price gonna go up. But I was paying you to cover me. But it get to an extent to where you should, and then that's why I always say it feels like they like, dude, we can fuck you, but you cannot do that the other way around. And then the government, to make it worse, jump within it and be like, yeah, you gotta have them boys with you. If you're not on the road, you gotta allow them to fuck you.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna allow you to get on the road. And then that's exactly how it goes. Because when they kicked my mother out of that insurance, that was the weirdest thing to me. Because to my understanding, that's the whole purpose of an insurance, to cover you in case I messed up.
You know what's crazy, Pendies? They would do that. Then send it to the DMV, say you don't have no insurance. Then the DMV charge you for not having no insurance.
That's what I'm saying. The government is part of it. The government. Look, I got a funny story that's even crazier, bro. I had a Tesla Model S, and after I purchased it, I haven't purchased it yet, but as I was talking with the dealership, and I kind of took the VIN number, and I started looking for insurance, right? And because whenever you look online, you start looking for insurance. That's the worst thing to do. Robocall is gonna be calling you left and right.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a guy that called me. And he was like, hey, man, I saw you got on our website. We were looking for insurance, man. We got the greatest deal for you. I'm telling you, you can't turn it down. Best in the neighborhood. You ain't going to find anything better than that. Guess how much that guy told me I got to pay him? Take a quick guess.
For the insurance?
For the car.
$60,000?
No, monthly.
Oh, for the insurance?
Yeah, for the insurance for the car.
And the Tesla?
For the Tesla, yeah.
Shit.
He called me and telling me we got the best deal there is out there. I'm telling you, man, you get insurance with it. I saw you were looking for insurance on our website. Yeah. And I got the best quote for you. Hear me out. How much you think he told me to hear him out for?
$600?
$647.
God damn.
And I told that guy, man, look, listen, bro. Look, if for some, and I've never been in a wreck, nothing like that. So I'm like, I get it. It's an expensive car.
You was below 25? Was your below 25?
I was like about 25-ish, give or take, when I bought that Tesla. And I was just like, look, listen, bro. Just tell me you can't cover me. Because I don't think you can expect me with a straight face walk into your office, or maybe not even walk into your office, allow y'all to just pull $647 out of my bank account for no reason whatsoever freaking ever. And so my thing, I'm like, why is that insurance so expensive though?
But think about it. Cool. I agree. $647, bro. Paying you. $647, you got it. I've been paying for 10 years. $647 every month. I got my first car accident.
But they didn't raise it up and tell you they.
So you telling me you forgiving me?
Yeah.
Accident forgiveness, please, somebody explain this to me. Accident forgiveness. I've been paying you $647 every month for 10 years. My first accident, when that at the time, I came through for you, bro. I came through every month.
But
I
like
never
said-
miss a payment.
like I said,
bang, bang, bang. You got it.
It's kind of like them. It's like, in a way, the way I feel, it's kind of like, we can fuck you, you can't fuck us. That's exactly how it goes. It's kind of like, we want to fuck you, and you gotta allow it. But if by any stretch of the imagination you think you can fuck us, you did wrong. We're gonna kick you out.
Yes, it's crazy thing is just.
And then some people gotta take them to court to even get their money.
Yeah.
Their money worth.
Yeah.
Man, talking about insurance, I got plenty of stories about insurance. This is the second one that's like the most interesting one. I had an insurance on my house. Like, the way I had the insurance, I think it covers everything: stove, fridge, anything, the water heater. If something breaks, they got you. They replace it. You got to put like a 10% down on it, and then they got the rest. That's how they always looked at it. And I was like, man, that's a great deal. And within 2 months of living in my house, my water heater broke. And I called them. They said, right now we don't have anybody we can send because all normal contractors are busy. Get you your own private contractors and then put him in touch with us so we can negotiate. Cool. Guy came over and says, man, you're going to need a brand new water heater, 2 Gs, because that one is messed up. And I'm like, what happened? He says, man, I'm not quite sure what really happened. He gave me a list of reasons. I think he said it could be the freeze that froze it up. Those are actually poor quality. It could be the quality of it because I change them every other week. And could be somebody messed with it. I can't really quite tell you. But he gave me 3 things it could possibly be. But he said most likely I think it's poor quality because I change those things very often. Most people that got that type of water heaters, every other week I got to change a new one. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to put you in touch with my company, with my insurance company, and let them know that. And got in touch with the company, and I got an email saying, oh, we can't cover the water heater. It's because the guy said it's because it was affected by the weather. And there's a clause in the contract that says if it's affected by the weather, we can't cover it. And I called the guy, and I'm like, hey, man, what did you tell the insurance? He says, man, I've told them the same thing I've told you. I gave him a list of reasons. I told him I'm not quite sure. I give him 3 things it could possibly be. And I'm like, no, I got the email right here saying you told them that it was the freeze, the only thing that they don't cover. He says, nah, same thing I told you, I told them the same thing. I'm like, hold on, man, wait. Something ain't right here.
Hold up, wait a minute.
I'm like, dude, you said that it was the freeze. You didn't give him any other reason. He said, no, he said, the same thing I told you, man, I'm telling you, I've told him the same 3 things. I'm not quite sure, and I told him the 3 reasons I believe it could be. And he says, man, that's insurance company. That's what they do. And I called them back, and I'm like, man, I just talked to the guy. He said, that's not what he said. He said, yeah, that's what he said. I'm like, do you want me to add him to the line? I added him to the line. And the guy got to the line. He says, ma'am, what I've said was I give you 3 reasons. I've told you myself I wasn't 100% sure. I give you 3 reasons it could possibly be. I didn't say which one it was exactly. And then they said, well, the fact that one of those reasons fall within something we don't cover, you're on your own. Yeah, I think.
I mean, how's that even legal, bro?
And of course, I could have gone to court, do the whole 9 yards. But dude, I'm paying you to make my life easier. So why now I gotta go to the extent of trying to go to court, trying to sue you and all that extra stuff? So I'm like, I mean, fuck it. I'm just gonna go and buy my own water heater. So that's why when it comes to insurance, especially whenever you're buying something, man, if you pay $100 a year, we'll cover it for another year. It's like, I get it. If it breaks, you guys are gonna replace it and so on and so forth. But what are the chances you know it's gonna break? And then that's what you guys are willing to, an insurance company is willing to bet on.
Yeah.
Because they know, okay, what are the chances that thing gonna break?
Even though when it breaks, that's the thing is sometimes they got the fine print, something like that, and most of the time, 95% of people don't win the fine print.
Nobody read the fine prints.
Nobody win the fine print. When somebody I know a guy that told me like he read the fine print, but I'm just saying it's really like the meaning.
I read them lately.
Yeah, you know.
Personally, if you find anything, I read them lately. I got it in the funny, like that wasn't quite about insurance, but it's something similar to that sense. I had this internet company that sent actually a little kid, young guy, knocked on my door, looked about 18. Hey man, we got this special thing we're currently having with Satellink, to where you can get like 100 gig a second worth of internet for $20 a month. And I'm like, what? See what? Come again? He said, yeah, for about $20 a month you can get internet. And he gave me a little card. He said, you can go to them right now. Like I got my name on there. You can say I sent you $20 a month. And I'm like, man, say less. Next day I went to Satellink and they're like, yeah, we do that. But in order for us to do that, you got to have a phone with us. You got to have a security system with us. You got to have the internet with us. You got to have TV with us. And you got to have insurance with us. And then, out of all this, your bill going to be $220, but the internet is going to cost you about $20, though. And I'm like, why in the hell y'all didn't say that?
They never say that because that's the whole game of it. They wanted you to go over there. So they like put in like I mean, now think about it. Okay, you know what? It's 220, but I mean, think about it now. You know what? As a matter of fact, we can do it for 160. I think that's a great deal. Come from like 220
And they
to
get something out of
160,
you nonetheless.
and then you just like, that's
They
that's
get
good.
something out of you nonetheless. That's why it's kind of like even when I go on vacation, when somebody's trying to bother me and make me feel like I'm getting a deal, I
never get a
always
deal.
automatically mistrust it. And even if you present me something, you feel like, hey man, this right here, man, you could be getting it for $20. I'm hooking you up for $2. It's kind of like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you're screwing me, because there's a reason you're giving it to me for $2.
Just like,
You me that much.
some guy come knocking on my door. He say, "Hey man, I'm giving you." They doing those where they what this company called? The one that do the keep animals away from your house. Pesticide companies like that. So it's like, man, we're in the neighborhood. So since we already have so many people in there, we can give you the best deal. So we got a lot of people. Cool. He said, man, we can do it like, usually it's be like $80 a month, but this time we're gonna do it for $40. So we're gonna come, like every month we're gonna come and check your house. So if you want, if something going on, you can call us. We'll show up too, and we'll do it for you. Cool. Never mention, and I'm signing a contract. None of this. So cool. I got on it. I feel like it was a deal. Cool. Got it. Signed all the stuff. Then 2-3 months passed. I never use it. They never come through. I said, man, I called. I said, man, you know what? I feel like I got the thing. This is the first time you all came in. You did the thing for me. I never have to use it. I would like to cancel because I feel like it's extra for that I don't even need. Oh no, you can't cancel till like 3 more months. I said, man, you never mentioned that it was a contract that I couldn't like.
It was in the fine print you didn't read. That's how
You see what I'm saying? It's just like,
it's kind of like a system that's screwing you. That's why I feel like whenever somebody's trying to make me feel like I'm getting a deal, oh yeah, man, it's the best thing out there. I'm telling you, it's kind of like my mind just automatically don't show shit. I don't care whether the guy was telling the truth or not, but it's kind of like the moment I hear you trying to force something down my throat, I automatically don't trust it because I feel like what's your interior motives? Why are you going to that extent? Because you don't care about my house like that. You don't care if I got snakes living in this house.
Yeah.
So, but yet you making it seem like I'm hooking you up with this deal to where you ain't got to worry about that. And that's why whenever the moment I feel like somebody's slick talking me, I automatically don't trust you. I don't care if you were selling me a ticket to heaven for $2. I'm just gonna be like, nah. It's kind of like I'm purposely wanna ignore that deal, even though if it was a great deal. But because I know 9 times out of 10, it's either a scam or they trying to play you or they trying to get over you. But that's how this world works. Because they just want your signature in that little fine print and that little line. The ones they get it don't matter what they told you.
Yeah.
It matter what's in that paper and where you signed that. But that's how the system works.
But we we was talking good about the 9 to 5. I don't want to do 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. I want to do business. I want to get out that rat race and out of the system, because the minute you're out,
the moment you are, you are. The moment you start a small business, like I said, being an owner myself, I can tell you for most of the boys, it's going to be extremely hard dealing with employees. Like, like if you got something that's extremely small and then yet you cannot afford having like somebody mess it up, because any little slip up, you can feel it. And yet you got employees that don't take it nowhere as seriously as you are. That's like one of the hardest challenges to deal with. But for the most part, if you can make it through all those phases, if you are like a good problem solver, if you don't crack under pressure, you can go through all those hard challenges and make it to the other end. You'd be doing like 100 times better than most people. I'm not gonna say everybody, but most people with a 9 to 5. That's why I would advise being in entrepreneurship is extremely a good and a great thing. And you got to think about it. You can always pass that business down to your family.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. So therefore, like with a
create
9 to 5,
generational
wealth. So therefore, if you can have like kids that like that are level headed, that can maintain what you
teach
built,
them that,
or perhaps you can teach them that can maintain and preserve your hard work. It's kind of like you got your family hooked up for generations to come. So therefore, overall, a business, being an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what it is, it's always 10 times better than having a 9 to 5. And then we're just going to conclude it at that.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
All right, man.